Good morning, sir. We got Elizabeth coming in now. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
What's it
Hi,
say?
Tom.
Wife Lee? Or Witty?
Oh, Whitley.
I thought it was wifely or witty.
Yeah, I'm very wifely.
Both work. I'm very wifely.
I like it.
I love it. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Laura.
Morning.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good.
I had my whole fish tank thing going there, and it's like controlling a DJ booth with 20 different things at once. It's pretty fun, but it takes a little movement on my part. But anyway, good to see you all here this morning. Let me get Mike in. I see Mike there. Boom. Awesome. Mike should be joining us now. Mike, welcome to the call. Michael, how you doing, bud?
What's up? It's a
What's
party.
up?
How we doing?
Good.
All my friends are on the call now. So listen, guys, thank you
Whitley
for
hat.
being.
I don't have one of those. What's
Thank
up?
Isn't this a sweet hat?
What
I
the
know.
heck, Brent?
Hey, what's the hat say? You came on late. What's the hat say?
Whitley.
I was like, it says wifey or wife Lee, and then I was like witty, and all of it works, but
Grant's getting a text right now.
right. Listen, everybody, thank you for being on the call. I wanted to announce this will be our last vision call today for the series that we did to help people through the COVID-19. I think for all intents and purposes, we've seen the worst of the impact on real estate to COVID-19. We're starting to see states open up now. So really, I wanted to focus on what the future looks like coming out of COVID for a lot of you top producers and top leaders around the nation in your respective areas, kind of what you're seeing in your market, maybe as that little market snapshot. And then if you could, some nuggets that the people that have been following us, we've got, several hundred people that have been involved in watching and following along with us and cooperating, what they can do from a leadership standpoint that you're in for their future as we transition back to some form of normalcy, if there is such a thing. But with that, welcome to the call. I'd like to open it up to whoever wants to go first and just tell us what's going on in your market, kind of microly, and then macroly, what's what the future is as we circle back.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump in here. So greater Sacramento, Northern California area, we are seeing a rebound of inventory. A lot of sellers are gaining the confidence, putting their home on the market. What we are seeing is the day on market is expanding and growing because the amount of inventory coming on the market is exceeding the buyer demand. It's still a good, healthy market. It's about 2-month average inventory here. It was about a month and a half inventory, but that's still a seller's market. It's a healthy seller's market. We're seeing, as I mentioned last week, things have been opened up again as far as viewing and showing occupied homes for sale, which just really helps. Plus the weather is just amazing here. It's going to be about 75 degrees, so it's springtime. So things are happening. The market's looking pretty good here. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you sharing. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Carrie, yes, ma'am.
So I was actually analyzing some stats and studying my agents' listing presentations and seeing how they presented the stats over the last couple of days. And my mind was blown. So across the board, the average days on market right now is about 22 for the last 30 days. And the list price to sell price ratio is at 102%.
Wow, that's a screaming market.
It's screaming, and I am so blessed to be a part of it. I'm joyful. When I think about the future, though, regardless of the market that you're in, I think there's a lot that we can learn from how we've adapted in this time. And it's impossible to argue that there are people that are thriving because we've seen it, we've talked about it, we've talked to them on the panel, right? So I think for the lesson to take away from this, no matter what is happening, you can't control that. The only thing you can control is the decisions you make about how it impacts you and your business moving forward. And so I think that there's a lot of people out there that have a regret right now about how they handled the last few weeks. And the good news is it was short-lived, right? We're moving out of it. It's going to be over soon. But the lesson to take from that is how you adapt and how you handle disaster and crisis and situations in the future. And if you're not happy with how you handled this, if you're really honest with yourself, if you feel like you left some money on the table or some opportunity, or you might not have provided the level of service that your clients deserve, you have an opportunity to make up for that. And you have an opportunity to continue to be better and better at what you do and to control your mind in a better way. And that's what it's really all about.
That's a great statement and a great look at it from that perspective. And I love that. Thank you. I think there's a lot of takeaways from that statement. Next, who would like to share?
I'll jump in.
Mike.
Who
And
is
then
that?
Elizabeth.
Go ahead, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
We'll
It's
go boy,
okay.
girl. Okay.
I like to hear about New York anyways.
Yeah, right. Okay, Elizabeth, stage is yours.
Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of where we've been all along. Stuff is coming on the market, but not a lot. In the last week, I mean, we had 50 new listings, 42 signed contracts, and 62 properties closed. Obviously, the closed properties all went into contract prior to any of this happening. My sense of talking to people is most of the signed contracts also are apartments that someone had seen prior to this. And I think we're just going to continue that way until we get out of this and can get back in the market, actually meeting with people, showing property, and moving forward.
Makes sense. Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel? Any scuttlebutt or any words coming from your area of a time frame for the future?
So it's hard to judge. I know that middle of May, stuff will start to open up in New York State. It's not clear, though, if that will actually happen in New York City. I think we're going to be a little bit behind in that. And so there's two questions. One is, will they change the status of real estate in New York City so that agents can actually be showing properties? But the other things involved with that are people going to actually want to come out looking at properties while New York City is still pretty much in lockdown? And then also, will buildings even allow showings? Because the buildings have been very, very strict about letting people in. Even
a lot of things in flux, clearly. Flux. Well, thoughts and prayers to you. I know a lot of us, our hearts have been heavy for you specifically because of your geographical location, and anything that we can do to support you, just know that it still exists.
Well, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, who would like to go? Mike.
Yeah, so our inventory was, about 50% down coming on the market this whole way through. In the last 24 hours, we went right back to where we were about 60 days ago, which was unbelievable. You guys could probably watch the news. California is still like, no, we're not putting up with this anymore. Southern California especially, I actually feel like really terrible for Elizabeth and our friends all over the country that are in these major metro areas it's almost like they were geographically hit 10 times harder than us. Yeah. And it's very sad and it's devastating. But if we're talking real estate, SoCal is like, let's do this. Let's have a little spurt, guys. And I'll be very specific. I've been watching the inventory like really close because I'm making some pretty bold statistic or predictions on what's going to happen in the next 30 to 90 days. So I don't want to be stupid. So I'm really watching the numbers really closely. If your home is priced right, and there's a lot of people that don't know the difference between fantasy land and reality, right? People are still trying to price homes like they did, a year ago today. Although our average price range is up, and it's up a lot, believe it or not. I think we were somewhere at 500 last year at this time, and now we're like 565 average price range. That's a dramatic increase, right? But the people that are pricing their homes 3 to 5% over market, they're not selling, right? It's a very price sensitive market. And I think it's up to us to talk to our clients about that. Like, look, the market's a little different, but however, if they're pricing them at current market value, just like Carrie said, they're selling within the 7 to 10 day period. In that average price range, if it's a decent product, there's still multiple offers. And our response, so we have at least 10 agents a day making 100 calls a day. So that's a lot of calls, right? And it's funny to go on my meetings with the team and their faces are lighting up, like they're like, it's happening. People are excited. People want to see homes again. And it's people are really coming out of the woodwork. It's scary because we have almost 50% less inventory than we did last year. And we have interest rates way better than last year. So my prediction is we're going to have a major boom for the next 90 days. I don't know if price ranges will go up or prices will go up, but I feel like it almost has to, the tad. But I think it'll take another 30 days to get rolling like that. But you know, that anything under, in our area, anything under 650,000, I think is going to be pretty blatantly exploding. Hopefully it lasts. I have a weird feeling towards November, December, it'll start slowing down and we might see something that we're not excited about. But that's just me, stupid, you know.
What's making you think that, Mike?
I think there's only enough buyers and affordability. So the people that thrived and survived, I'm stupid cliche to say all that now, but the reality is there's these people with a lot of pent up frustration, people that have to buy and sell. I think as far as the economy goes, and I think as far as affordability goes, and I think there's a lot of people that won't be able to do what they want because they are hurt. And the people that, you know, cruise through this doing just fine they're just like, let me at it. And I hope by the next spring comes around, that'll all be gone and our economy will be back to normal. And that's not even a prediction. That's just a hope at this point. But I have realized too, without the proper marketing, homes are sitting on the market. It's the agents that are marketing the property properly and pricing it properly that's really making a difference. And it's interesting with the agents. I had a talk with my team the other day, and you guys know I talk to agents all over the country, and I was trying to figure out who's doing what and why. And I came up with this epiphany that, you know, out of the 50 people a week that I talk to, they're pretty good producers that I help. It boiled down to their own self-confidence, and it boiled down to their outlook on themselves personally.
The story they're telling themselves, right?
Yeah, and it was really amazing. And the people that don't believe in themselves, the clients can actually feel that. You know, you guys know me, energy is everything and everything's energy. And people in this world, in this universe, if they don't vibe with that agent, if that agent is in 100% believing in their ability to sell, market, negotiate, and feel healthy and vibrant, people can pick up on that. So I have these amazing agents that are in the crapper right now, and it's just because of here. They don't believe in what they're saying. They don't believe in their head, and it's sad. And I'm desperate to say, okay, now that we've figured this out, how can we fix this? And you know, it goes back to my perfect daily schedule that includes an hour a day of self-help. But even the agents that are doing self-help, they're screwing with their own heads. They're going through the motions, but they're not absorbing it. They're not opening their minds, their bodies and souls and really taking it in. And I'm just like, whoa, you guys are bullshit. God, I forget we're on Facebook. You guys are lying to yourselves. You're not believing what you're saying. Until you truly believe that you are the most badass real estate agent on the planet, you're going to be in this stump for a while. So I'm like, take a look around. It's spring, like Tom said. Birds are chirping. People have money burning a hole in their pocket. They have pent up energy. You're the best agent on the planet. Take it all in and just explode right now, because you guys know me. I have not put up with this crap for 1 minute through this whole thing, except for my 1 week of when I was a little tripped out, like, whoa, am I going to die? And then when I figured out I wasn't dying, it was like full throttle, right? So, but I just love it. And I think if you're listening out there, if you're watching and we're talking to our teams, let's get our heads. I mean, as a matter of fact, remember like a month ago, mindset was cliche, but now we're back because it's actually been proven that people have mind screwed themselves into this hole. But man, believe in yourself, believe in your company, believe in your marketing, your education, your teams, and let's make a difference in these people's lives, because there's buyers and sellers counting on us right now.
Love it.
Well,
Mike.
so I
Thank
have
you.
something to say
Yeah.
quickly on that. It's about believing in your ability to create the result. Do you know how many listing agents out there are saying, well, let's give it a few more weeks and see what happens. And then we go meet with them and we're like, look
Yeah.
at the stats. That person's full of shit. We're going to get it done. And here's how we're going to get it done. And they sign with us. So don't be one of those little, I was going to say the B word. Doesn't have confidence in your ability to get shit done. Like, get it done.
Right.
Carrie's almost always more fun when she's at her Florida house than in her.
There's a sign. So I want to get to lovely Laura and Kim. You guys tell us what's going on in your areas, and then I have a couple questions for the panel. But,
Okay.
Laura, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll
I
go.
love your sign, by the way, for the love of real estate.
Yeah, I love that.
Yay,
So,
good job.
I'm in Oregon, and I'll just kind of give you some stats for Lynn County. So, last year during this time, Lynn County realtors took 261 listings, and then this month or last month, it was 226 listings. So it's only about an 8 or 9% shift in the number of listings. Last year they were selling at like 264. This year it's 309. So we're definitely not seeing a crunch down in prices or anything to that nature. But what I am seeing when you look at the market, there's a handful of companies that are productive and are out there getting the business, and there's a handful of or more than a handful of companies that have just shut their doors and are kind of on hiatus right now. And so it's just so important, like Mike and Carrie were saying, that you just need to be proactive. You need to we know what the market is today. We don't know what the market is tomorrow. And today the market's great in Oregon. So list and sell your property. Don't wait. And if you have someone that maybe has, is older or has underlying conditions, or they don't want the extra risk, then take a pre-listing and start pre-marketing it for when they're ready to put it on the market, or do the virtual stuff for them and just keep it real low key. But the market's moving. So the folks that want to say it's not and want to wait, I think are just either scared themselves or really just needed a holiday.
Yeah, and not to be controversial, but there are a lot of brokers of offices that are in the holding pattern or hiding pattern, and that trickles down to the agents. So it's hard for an agent to have that mentality of winning when it's coming from the top, maybe within their bubble or their envelope. And Carrie said it great a couple of weeks ago, align with the team right now that is crushing it. Align with a team leader, an organization, a company that is forward thinking in this time of how we're going to survive and again, crush it. And I think that's just as important as, what you're saying, Laura. You could do it independently, but if your doors are locked with a chain and everybody's saying, oh no, you can't, COVID, that might be a time for you to change into alignment with somebody that thinks differently.
Dude, you couldn't have said that better, Randy, because the reality is, if you're a broker of any sizable company, like I had 300 agents, right? And unfortunately, 90% of those agents are whiners and crybabies and stress cases. That flows up to the poor broker or manager, right? That manager goes to bed at night going, I just had X amount of people just completely diarrhea in my face, like all day long. So after a couple of weeks of that, they're going to have anxiety. They're going to hide. They're going to say, I don't know what to do. Liability. Oh my God, I'm going to start listening to the governor and really screw everything up. So you couldn't be more right on by saying this is probably the time to align with somebody awesome, somebody who's going to take charge and plow you through the next freaking generation of real estate. Because I'm watching these, obviously I coach a lot of them, and I'm like just going, wake up, stop.
Yeah.
Give all your attention to your awesome agents. Stop talking to the ones that are not going to last through this. Stop wasting your energy on people that don't deserve it.
And if I was in Carrie's neighborhood, I'd join her team for no other reason than just her fire in her belly. And I don't want to compete against that. I'm teaming up with that. So if you're in Carrie's area,
Thank you.
Kim, I don't want to leave you out. Please bring us the love and bring us the update of what's happening for you.
How's everybody? We are in phase 1 on Monday of re-entering the market. So our governor announced yesterday, we are in phase 1 starting Monday, businesses reopening, restaurants reopening, 25% only. But, our real estate
number?
market,
Sorry, 35?
25%
Oh, 25%.
occupancy. Yeah. No bars, no gyms, no salons, any of that yet. That's going to be in phase 2. Vacation rentals are still on hold, cannot do any of that. Our market has maintained its strength. Within the last 24 hours, we had about 100 and something new listings. But the segment that I'm seeing a lot of interest in is the new construction. And the reason for that is obvious. You know, brand new, clean. I mean, they don't have to worry about going in and necessarily worrying about another family living in, and all those things. But new construction is going to be a real competitive segment of the market.
And through the markets that I affect and coach in, we're not seeing any price compression in the new construction markets either. I saw Carrie shaking her head, but are you seeing that too? That the price is very stable in the new construction?
I am, and the builders are actually offering a little bit of an incentive to get agents to bring buyers there, but you know, they're not giving it away by any means. But yeah, it's a real strong segment of the market, as are the rentals. I mean, I got to tell you, the rental market is as strong as I've ever seen it. Again, the office market is going to be distressed. It's already started. So that's a part of the market that I like to work into, and the commercial side of things. And the developers are, you know, the monies that they're getting from any government loans, it's not going to be enough. It's just simply not going to be able to handle it. So they're going to have to be creative on what they do with their projects and what they're going to do with the land that they have. So
it's so true. You know, there's so many different segments that I don't think about as, and yesterday I got a coaching assessment with a gal that's into business purchases, and she's only been in the business about 4 or 5 months. So here, a couple months into her journey, this happens. All of a sudden businesses are like out, and she's saying, what can I do to market to businesses in future? All this kind of stuff. I'm like, pull the ripcord, let the parachute go, and choose a different category.
Absolutely.
Because that's just going to be such a decimated, you know, space for that particular realtor trying to sell businesses or leases, and it's just a noisy, complicated space for a while. So good or bad advice, that was my thought, was abandon ship and get in alignment with what's going to be hot in the future.
I agree. And, you know, one more point, the state of Florida, we're sort of in 2 segments. South Florida is still in major shelter in place. They're not going to be in phase 1 because of all the, I mean, they just had the lion's share of the epidemic down there. And north of Orlando, technically, all of us, we're starting in that phase 1 re-enter business kind of thing. So
Disney World's going to open. That's all I need to know.
Hopefully, but they didn't give us a date yet. So we're interesting. You know, we've got 2 segments going on, and so we'll be fine. It's on the go.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate the input from everybody. And what I thought is, you know, I'm seeing an interesting dynamic. I'm seeing a seller's market with a complicated time frame with the buyer thinking that it's a buyer's market, mentally at least. Are you guys seeing that through your markets, to where the numbers are showing, like Carrie said, that it's a very strong market, but the buyers still think, because of the news or otherwise, that they're in charge? Are you seeing that at all?
I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing the buyers are getting back to a little bit more normalcy. So I'm seeing the buyers are getting back out there and making offers and buying homes that are priced right.
So they're understanding they need to step it up to be competitive in this market.
So I have a strategic tip for anyone out there that may struggle with an individual buyer, right? Because ultimately it's just about the mindset of the person that you're taking care of. What I always do is show them the last 90 days of sales. And if they can't find something that matches all of their criteria that actually sold, then that means that it doesn't exist, right? We call it a reality check analysis. And that's the way we talk about it to the people, because we want to save their time and avoid stress and hassle. And so when we look at those 90 days, we have them pick out exactly what they would have bought. Not they would have bought this house on that lot, what they would have bought.
Right.
And then you pull the stats from there. And so when we're doing those exercises consistently, we're able to show, you'll have about 7 days before the house is gone. You'll have 3 days before the house is gone. And by the way, the average is 103.7% based on the listings that were your favorite that you would have bought. So then it's just forecasting what they need, how they need to think about the market in the segment of what they want to buy. That is the most effective way to get a buyer's mindset shifted and then to start discussing the terms that they're going to need to consider to win.
I love that. And I love how you tie in, here's 107% of average sales price. This is the last 90 days. And they're wanting to offer 10 or 15% below ask because the news says the market's, going to be crushed or whatever. So I love that.
Yeah.
Who else?
I'll tag on that a little bit. It doesn't matter what market you're in. If you work with a buyer before showing them comparables on exactly what they want, it's no different than working with the seller and listing their house before ever talking about price, right? The buyers, if this is the conversations I've had this week, but there's only a few people here that say that, oh, it's going to happen. I go, well, if you think it's going to happen, let's look at what has happened, right? And go over the last 3 months and say, look, home sales are still 98.9% of list price in your price range, whatever it is, based on that. But do you really truly believe that in the next 90 days that's going to happen? And if they say absolutely yes, and I say, here's my advice to you, wait 90 days, and then you can have proof that that's happened. Because if you're going to go out there right now, you're just going to waste everybody's time, effort, and money. So why don't you and I just watch the market carefully together? I have this Market Watch program that'll help you make decisions on where to make offers. But for right now, you're not in the right market. Maybe someday, somehow that'll come apart. And then they usually go, okay, and they get it if they're really, truly motivated. But I've blown at least 5 buyers this week out of the water. Like, no, you're not going to work with my teammates because you are seriously bored. It's cheaper than the movies to go look at houses, and it's not happening with my team. There's just no way. But
Attaboy.
But the problem is actually they're scaring some of the agents, and the agents are going, oh yeah, it's going to happen. I'm like, you let one investor or one buyer change your mind? Like, no, look, these numbers do not lie. Follow the numbers. You can have gut instincts, but follow the numbers.
That's what I love is the numbers don't lie, follow the numbers.
So many of the agents, are starting to believe this thing. And even if it does happen, that's fine. But can we wait till it happens before we start pushing it? Like, geez.
I love it.
I think the data is so important right now. I mean, you've got to be on the data. You got to know what's listing, what's selling. I mean, the days on the market, it is so important. And a lot of people just don't look at that. Agents don't look at that, unfortunately. And it's a mistake because buyers are saying, well, let me wait, a couple months, 4 or 5 months. And that is really a mistake on their part, I think, depending on the market and where they are, because, they're saying, well, let me save 5 or 7%. Well, in the scheme of things, they're only going to get that back if they end up selling it. And, they're trying to save money, obviously. That's why they're delaying it or thinking they're going to get a better deal or they're going to watch the prices. And all of those factors go into it. But the data is absolutely crucial right now. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was thinking too that if you just look at your pendings, pull up your pendings in the area that they're looking at buying in, normally like our closed data here for Lane County is 309, but our pendings right now are at 343. Mm-hmm. So there's not an indication that things are going down. So even though things won't sell for full price, they'll be down some, but it's not crashing.
And our numbers here, Laura, still are in the high 90s for list to close ratio, right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So
Very
that's
cool.
just educating them.
Right.
Yep. That's it.
So I've got a couple nuggets from today, guys. And I think the big thing that I want to really focus on maybe as we end this call. And first of all, I just really, really am so grateful for each one of you and your contributions over the last couple months. Really offering, number one, to do this for agents that might be looking for that leadership and looking for that little shot in the arm of motivation, inspiration, or help. That means a ton to me, and I've had a lot of loving feedback around that. And some takeaways from today is follow the numbers. The numbers don't lie. That is your holy grail, in my opinion. That's the one thing that you could take away from this call, that if you get to be an expert in your area in those numbers, you're going to do business because of that knowledge. And and that ability to instruct people along those truthful lines of numbers. Carrie, control what you can control. Really don't worry about the shit you can't control, and get out of your head with that. Really focus on what you're putting in your brain, because the way you feel on the inside is the way you come out on the outside, right? So if you're trying to fake it till you make it and inside you don't believe it, you're being exposed. That's just happening right now. And then the last thing, as Mike said, energy is everything, and everything is energy. Again, show me your 5 friends that you hang around with now, whether it's realtors or lenders, whoever it is, and I'll show you who you are, right? You show me who you hang around with, I'll show you who you are. So focus on hanging around people that are lifting you up, that are inspiring you and challenging you and bringing you to a higher level of yourself. So what I'd love to do, and I know we're at the 11:30 hour, but I'd love to just go around the horn, and any kind of closing gift, any kind of nugget, anything you want to say to people to really leave them with a shot in the arm of inspiration, hope, and vision for the future. I'd love to hear that from each of you. Please let me know.
Okay, I'll jump in. And it's one of my favorite quotes, and you guys have heard it. Skate to where the puck is going to be. So be a student of the inventory and a student of the market, which what we're talking about. So right now we're seeing a lot of trends. Be aware of them and have marketing programs to go that direction. You know, we're seeing a lot of rural areas and land and garden and urban farming. So a lot of people are upsizing right now, and they want accessory units, multi-generational, home and office. Unfortunately, we'll probably see the divorce on the increase. We have to be aware of that. A lot of people in California are moving out of state. Be aware of that. And then, as Kim said, we have to be sensitive to the location and the condition of the homes that we're marketing. So we have to be aware of that and not and be a market to the future trend. So skate to where the puck's going to be.
I love that. It's one of my favorite comments, Tom. One of my favorite ones. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go. I was thinking about this a lot, actually, and one of the things that I think that we really need to do as we move forward is figure out how we can expand our markets. And by that, I mean not just the areas that we sell in, because we're all perfectly comfortable in those areas, but how do we reach out to people in other areas? And to me, that's through referrals, whether it's, you know, someone referring to me in New York City, or to Kim in Northern Florida, or Carrie in Washington, or the rest of you guys in California and Oregon. I mean, that's really how we expand our footprint.
Yeah, great point. It's almost getting back to basics, but we were so busy over the last few years, it's easy to forget that. So thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. I appreciate you. And again, I'll be thinking of you regularly. And I have new friends, which is really what I got out of this. I have new friends across the nation, and I just appreciate each of you. So thanks for that. Who'd like to go next?
I can. So one of the favorite lines I like to use on people is like, you know, in chaos, there's always opportunity. And is there any real estate opportunities that you have in mind that you would like to explore or discuss? So just letting them know that there's a ton of opportunity right now with this chaos.
Right. And, you know, it's so amazing that, you know, the things that are going to open the door, like Tom just mentioned, divorce attorneys, that's going to be an opportunity for agents to get in front and build those relationships. As, you know, messy as that one looks like it could be, but that is going to be a future opportunity. So
I'll go next.
Yes.
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Kim.
I think as an agent, now's not the time to pull back. I think it's time to double down and just keep moving forward, doing the things that we've been doing as leaders, technology, video. I think the bottom line is we just need to do our best, and doing our best is not just saying it, but actually doing it and applying the knowledge that we all have learned and achieved, just some basic wisdom even, and obtaining more knowledge and new knowledge, and just doing our best to educate our clients, our friends, and people that are looking to us for information. It's good for us, it's good for them, and it's good for the people that we impact, I think. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Carrie, you want to go?
I'm like dying to share. So Instead of going big picture, I'm gonna like dial in on the divorce attorney thing for a second. I feel like there are so many brilliant ways to market right now. And the divorce attorney is one that I hired a VA. I got them to make a list of every divorce attorney in my area. And now I'm targeting them with education that I feel they need to understand about the real estate market. So get creative, figure out who your audience is, and then leverage technology and video to serve that audience and really give them valuable information that they need to know, and you will not go wrong. So that's one idea. There are 100 ideas. Just figure out what you're attracted to and go hard and run in that direction and provide more value than anyone else, and your business will grow exponentially every single month, every single year by just doing the right things.
I love it. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. And Mike.
Yeah, I just, I'll share the secret, what I'm doing right now. Regardless if the numbers show that our markets are doing fine, there's going to be, remember in the beginning I said there's two ways agents are coming out of this. They're either non-existent or they're emerging as leaders. And people are going to respect them more than anything. And as leaders, we're responsible for a couple different things. Number one, know the market better than our clients. Number two, what I'm really focusing right now on is our presentations, buyer presentations, seller presentations. If there's a little bit of concern that a client might have or lack of confidence in you, the market, your company, this is the time to step up your game, revamp, recommit, relaunch all your marketing, even rebrand if you have to. We are spending a ton of time and energy and money building this massive cloud that's going to just burst and hail fire and thunder on our town. And people, it's like shock and awe. Like, I'm not kidding you, after freaking we bombed the hell out of what the heck, whatever they are. But it is definitely something, it's a time to sharpen those skill set and make sure your presentations are amazing, because it's really this simple, guys. Somebody calls you and two other agents, or meets with you and two other agents. One, what you say; two, what you present; and three, your energy and your vibes, right? That's all it takes to murder at any type of appointment. So if you say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, look at what I do for you, or here's what I know, and this is what I do on top of you, and it's going to be better than the next agent, and they're going to be like, that's my boy, Mike. Let's sign this thing.
I love it, man. Dude, I love you, and I really do love the panel and the energy that you guys have provided and brought to a lot of agents. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. We'll be seeing each other around the horn, I'm sure, and any way we can contribute to each other, we'll continue to do that. But I feel like we've got a great little group here, a great little family that has delivered a lot of value. And I appreciate each and every one of you for the opportunity to be involved and get to know you better. So with that, thank you. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And May 1st, we're one day closer to this baby being over with.
All right.
All right, you guys.
Guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
It was
Enjoy
fun.
and cheers. Thanks.
Yes.